This lesson is about surface area and volume. When I think about surface area, I think about area, so my units are going to be units squared. I'm going to count the visible faces that I can see on the object and multiply by 2. The reason why I multiply by 2 is to count the faces in the rear that I cannot see. So count the visible faces and then multiply by 2. Volume is the stuff inside the object. The amount of stuff inside the object is units cubed. To find the volume of the object, we're going to count the number of cubes it takes to make the figure. Not how many you see, but how many cubes needed to make the figure. So let's look at the figure below. We first want to find the surface area. So we're going to count the visible faces and then multiply that number by 2. The best strategy is actually to put a number in each little space that you see. So count the faces and then multiply by 2. So I counted the faces and I got 12 faces. That's how many I have visible in front. Now I need to multiply that number 12 by 2, and that will give me the total surface area. So the surface area is equal to 12 times 2, which is 24 units squared. The surface area is 24 units squared. Now let's find the volume. When I find the volume, I have to count the number of cubes that are needed to make this figure. If you just look at it, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubes. But you'd be mistaken if you wrote 5, because there's actually one hiding back here. This one can't float above on its own. It has to be resting on one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So our volume is 6 units cubed. Section 6.2 talks about parallel, perpendicular, and skew lines. Parallel and perpendicular you should know already. Parallel are two lines that go in the same direction and do not touch. For example, BD and AC are two lines that are going in the same direction. Also BD, FG, BD, and KL. All of these are going in the same direction and they never touch. Perpendicular are two different directions, and they do end up touching if I continue the lines. For example, AC and AB. Another way to think about it as what lines make a right angle. The new concept here are skew lines. Skew lines are different directions and do not touch. For example, I could have this line RS, and I could have this line GL. They go in different directions. And if I continued those lines in space, they would never touch each other. Those are skew lines. Different direction and do not touch. They never intersect. Here's another set of skew lines. I could have this line going up and down, DG. Now I need to find another line going in a different direction, not up and down. I can't use this one because that's going to intersect it. Can't use this one, it's going to intersect it. I have to use something that will never intersect, something that does not touch it. There are two skew lines. If I continue this in space and I continue this line, think about it in the rear behind it. Those lines will never touch. This one's on this side of the building, this one's on the roof in the back. They will never touch. For number 1, I need to list two pairs of parallel planes. It takes 3 letters to make a plane. Think about planes as levels. Like, for example, on the ground level, we have 3 letters, S, U, V. A plane parallel to that would be above it, L, G, M. Those two planes are parallel. All three of those lines can be considered parallel because they all go in the same direction and they do not touch each other. Now let's find two pairs of skew lines. Start by picking any two letters. Pick a line segment. For example, I picked PR. Now pick something going in a different direction. So I can't pick these over here. They're going in the same direction. I can't pick UT either. If I pick UT, yeah, it's going in a different direction, but if I extend PR, they will eventually touch and create a 90 degrees. So those are not skew lines. So if I'm using PR, pick something above it, going in a different direction. For example, JE. Those are going in two different directions, and they will never touch each other if I extend those lines. Okay, so let's do it again. Pick any two letters you want. I'm going to pick DG. Now pick two letters somewhere else that are going in a different direction. I can't pick this. This is going in the same direction. I could pick over here FK. I could pick BA. Anything else somewhere else going in a different direction.